So some of you might not be aware of what Letterboxd is, but Letterboxd is this site where it allows moviegoers, fans of film, to go onto their site and track the kinds of films that they're watching and leave reviews for these types of films. It's a really popular website, actually. It's used by moviegoers everywhere, and I use it all the time as well. I'm a big fan of Letterboxd. I've been using them for several years now, and I like the fact that I can track the kinds of films that I'm watching and all this type of stuff. And unfortunately, Letterboxd has decided to kind of go the way of other big sites like YouTube and Twitter, and they decided to bend their knee to the woke crowd, to the woke left, and to really just crack down on anybody who goes outside of the woke leftist narrative, as is the case with this libertarian film critic, Society Reviews, who was banned from Letterboxd for having an opinion that goes outside of the narrative. I know, it's just crazy, right? How horrific that someone decided to have an opinion that goes outside of the very, very narrow narrative that people like Letterboxd and Twitter and YouTube want to continue to spread. So, but this is unfortunately the case, and I hate seeing the fact that Letterboxd is doing this, because I love Letterboxd. It really is a big shame. But hopefully, if we can raise awareness for it, there can be a change, and maybe, hopefully, he can get his account back or something. I don't know. But if you guys could help share this video, I'd greatly appreciate that. So let's go ahead and get into that. So Letterboxd has banned the account of prominent film site Society Reviews, removing all 500 plus reviews posted on the site over the last few years. No notice of a violation of terms and service was given to Society Reviews prior to the deletion, and no specific problematic content was flagged for author review, which is interesting. It's interesting that they don't, try to, help you figure out, okay, maybe we don't really want this type of content on our site, and maybe you can kind of, change some stuff. They don't do any of that. They just decide to just delete him altogether, just completely cancel him. This is like cancel culture, but in website form. So well done on that. A troubling trend has emerged on the internet when it comes to how tech companies are allowing critics to discuss the arts. A certain orthodoxy and consensus must be adhered to under penalty of erasure from the conversation, especially when it comes to reading movies and books politically. Wrongthink is often purged quietly as not to discredit the censor, but it will backfire because it turns those marginalized voices into martyrs, leading more people to their message. But irony is often lost on the ideologically possessed. Someone at Letterboxd was obviously very unhappy about the opinions and reviews and views of Society Reviews toward certain films, even though a cursory glance at the content on their official site shows only insightful commentary that just comes from another perspective. Which is the way that I view pretty much anybody with their opinion, unless you're just an SJW and you're just trying to cancel everyone. Letterboxd reached out to Society Reviews to confirm that their account has been deleted for the following reason, according to them. Your account was removed from our service because several of your reviews were in serious breach of our community policy. Serious breach. I'm sure that people were literally dying from reading some of his reviews because he had a different opinion, right? It's just nonsense, the way that people take this type of stuff so seriously, but they hate it. They hate it when anyone speaks outside of the narrative. They find that to be really dangerous towards the narrative that they are trying to continue to spread, because, the narrative that goes outside of the narrative that people like, Letterboxd and Twitter and YouTube is trying to spread is a narrative that's based on, common sense, and they don't like common sense. They hate it. They do whatever they can to try to cancel and silence it. Yes, the old hate speech excuse, which without showing the actual utterance that was so egregious. And of course, this is often the case with these types of people. Be sure to add Society Reviews to your bookmarks and check in their content regularly for alternative views on movies from a libertarian perspective. And that's great. And I don't think that even Letterboxd was the one that reached out to Society Reviews. I think he had to reach out to them first. But let me go ahead and see if I can find their website here, and we can just kind of take a little glance here at what they do. So Society Reviews what the message of female empowerment is actually telling women, and of course that is super that's just terrible, right? Just man, so dangerous. Such a dangerous narrative. It's so bad. And he obviously he's just talking about things from his own perspective, but that's bad. That's horrible. That's horrific. It's terrible. You shouldn't speak about anything outside of the perspective or the narrative that, people like Letterboxd want you to speak out of. So, and of course he did an entire interview about this as well, which was really good. So, Letterboxd bans Black Libertarian film critics' reviews. Which is interesting, right? It's interesting that they are totally fine with silencing minorities when the minorities are speaking outside of the narrative, right? But of course, they are all about inclusivity and, promoting minorities and their voices, right? Of course they are. But as soon as they speak outside of the narrative, that's when they decide to crack down and silence and cancel these types of people. The editor behind Society Reviews shares how more than 500 of his critiques vanished without a chance to defend himself, which is just par for the course for people like this. And the Libertarian film critic oversees Society Reviews. The website critiques movies from an unabashedly right-of-center perspective. Smith also shares hundreds of his film reviews with the popular local social media site Letterboxd, or at least he did. The service allows folks who may not have their own media outlet as a chance to share reviews with the public. Smith recently got booted from Letterboxd, which removed all of his reviews without notice. Very, very interesting. So, they reached out to him to actually talk about this, and they said, you've been posting reviews at Letterboxd as well as your site for some time. Why? Well, Letterboxd was initially recommended to me by fellow movie reviewers a couple of years ago. It was a place to post movie opinion and build a following, so it sounded simple enough. At the time, I was looking for a way to better utilize my film reviews and build a following outside of my main site, which, of course, was very successful for him, it sounds like. So, have you had any clashes with Letterboxd before the recent dust-up? There was nothing too explosive that comes to my mind. Usually, if I give a Christian movie a solid review, there'd be some atheist reviewers who would object to my opinion, but outside of the occasional okay boomer response, there were no huge dust-ups. I would go even further to say that for every negative comment I got, there was also positive ones, so there was a good balance of the two. How were you alerted to your reviews going missing on the site? I wasn't. Which just, it's just hilarious, pathetic, sad. I wasn't. So last week I was trying to log in to add some entries for the last 2 films I reviewed. As I tried to access my account, it's telling me my password is incorrect. I thought to myself that was odd because I hadn't changed it. So then I tried to reset my password and it's telling me that my account no longer exists. It was then that I found out my entire account had been deleted. Nearly 500 reviews, including a few I had written exclusively for Letterboxd. Which would just be like the worst feeling ever to watch that much energy and time and passion that you poured into over 500 reviews just be gone like that. It's just gone like that. Thankfully, he has his own website as well. So it's not like a complete loss for him. But it does really make people like me and other content creators here nervous on YouTube because, YouTube could literally just take away everything in a blink of an eye if they wanted to. Which is why I want to continue to try to work on building some sort of, exterior place to go to, like a website where I can post my videos or something like that, just to have it there for you guys. But obviously that's just something that I'm working on that's kind of long term. But it's something that everybody who's using another platform has to be, nervous about. So I didn't receive a word from the company, not a notice or a warning. I emailed their head help desk and straight up asked them what had happened. I was told, and I quote, "Your account was removed from our service because several of your reviews were in serious breach of our community policy." They then told me that the rule I broke allegedly was promoting, engaging in, or inciting hate, violence, discrimination, or intolerance. And of course, which is funny because they're literally just telling a black guy, that he is the hateful one, right? So after being told that me, a black libertarian film critic, was guilty of promoting hate and discrimination via the platform of mainstream movie reviews, I had a good 10 to 15 minute laugh, which is it is hilarious. The irony, the hypocrisy of all of this is very, very telling of the way that the sites like Letterboxd, Twitter, YouTube run their business and stuff. So you know, it's just crazy that this is happening, but at the same time, I really do hope that he is able to get some things sorted for this. I don't know if it will, but we'll have to just wait and see what the outcome of this is going to be. So let's see. So for the question, I'll try to watch my language, but I'll never watch my opinion, which is good, you know. Sometimes, you know, it's good to just watch the things that you say, but at the same time, you shouldn't change your opinion to meet whatever quota people want you to meet and stuff, you know. Like, I am totally against that. I love it when people have different perspectives and different opinions. I think that's great. It creates discourse and discussion, which is all great stuff, and we need more of that in today's day and age. But unfortunately, that's not the perspective that the SJWs or, you know, sites like Letterboxd and Twitter want to take. They want to silence anybody who speaks outside of the narrative that they want to spread. So I didn't start Society Reviews with the intention of being political, but as film and film opinion got so political divisive, I felt I had no choice but to be honest and call out films for what they were, which is sad. And that's exactly where I'm at right now as well. You know, I'd rather just be talking about movies based on their stories and character development and stuff, but that's not the game that Hollywood is trying to play anymore. So with that being said, let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Go check out the website for Society Reviews as well, societyreviews.com, and go check them out over there and leave a bookmark or something on their page. And it's a good place to get reviews and stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.